Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I am so very excited about today's video because I realized that most of you in the recent days have started selling clothing online. Clothing and shoes happens to be one of the biggest categories for online resale. So I'm here to show you how to write a great title and how to measure clothing. On today's video, I'm going to be dealing with women's clothing, especially dresses. I'll be showing you step by step how to measure and how to write a great title. At this point, I assume that you already have the hang of taking pictures, but I'm going to be mentioning some key points as we go along. So you stay tuned. And for this tutorial, I'm going to be using eBay as an example. I believe eBay has the most detailed listing system. And if you can get the hang of listing on eBay, you can pretty much list on any platform. Of course, this excludes Amazon because Amazon is a different animal altogether. Amazon has a different listing system. So I'm going to be using eBay for demonstration purposes, hoping that you get the hang of listing on eBay. And if I am to recommend what platform to start selling on, if you're considering multiple platforms, I'll definitely advise you to start selling on eBay, because if you can sell or if you can list on eBay, if you can set up shipping rates on eBay, you can pretty much sell on any other platforms. I believe if you get the hang of listing on eBay, the whole listing procedure on eBay, you can pretty much list on any other platform. If you can list on eBay, listing on Poshmark, on Mercari, and other platforms will be very easy. So for today's tutorial, I've pulled up some items out of my inventory to use for demonstration purposes. And like I said, we are going to be dealing with women's clothing. I'll be posting another video showing you how to list and measure jeans, because I know a lot of people have challenges listing or measuring jeans. But if you know how to measure jeans, if you know how to list them, you'll be set for success. So without wasting any time, let's get on with the tutorial. So I'm going to be using this hole. Here I've mounted a nail and I'm going to be using this hole for demonstration purposes. So let's get our first item. So I have my measuring tape here in my hand, and I have this dress. This is going to be our first item, and I'll be telling you also the styles as we go along. This particular dress is a bodycon. Bodycon is something that really hugs your body. It's different from a sheath. This is a bodycon because it grabs and shapes your body, hence the name bodycon. So when it says style, it's going to you're going to enter bodycon. But but I think I'm going ahead of myself. Just a quick rundown. If you are going to be listing on eBay, eBay allows you at least a maximum of 12 photos. So the more photos you have, the better. And the way you set up your photos matters. So the first photo that you're going to have as your main photo has to be the photo of the whole item. And please make sure that you have your photos cropped. And then you're going to, usually what I do is I take two full body photos of the front, and then you have and then I have my close-up picture, which will be the third photo, and then you turn your garment around and take the back as well. And then if for example this dress has particular items of interest, you definitely want to make sure that you take a close-up of. For example, this dress here has panels. Have panels that go across, so I'll get closer and take a photo of the bottom of the dress. And also make sure that you take a picture of the tag. Make sure you take a picture of the tag, including the size. And also make sure that if the tag does not include the fabric content, look for the fabric content and make sure that you take the fabric content as well. Usually it's on the left hand side of the dress, if I'm not mistaken, if I can find it. But if not, that's okay. We are not going to waste time looking for it here. So you're going to take a picture of the fabric content where it says what percentage, and the fabric content is super important because some of the items or that you're going to put on your title, they are going to come from the fabric content. For example, in your title, you want to have items like if it has rayon, if it has spandex, you know that stretch. So instead of writing spandex, you know you're going to put stretch in your title. Or if it's got wool, you want to mention wool. And if the wool is specified, if the wool is specified, make sure that you write the name of the specific wool. So now that you have your photos ready, you're going to start. Some people do their measurements as they take the photos. Some people do their measurements as they do the listing. Whichever way you choose, you do what's good for you, okay? Whatever works for you is what you do. With me, I change around all the time. At times, I take the photos while I'm taking the at times I take the measurements while I'm taking the photos. At times I do the measurements as I list. I find that taking the measurements as I take the photos, at times it speeds up the listing process. So now that you have your photos, how do you measure your garment, and what are and how do you list your item? So this is going to be listing 101, and on this video I'm not going to cover shipping because shipping is going to be a different video altogether. But I definitely am going on the title, because the title is what is going to make somebody, a potential buyer, click on your item, a potential buyer click on your item, and hence they'll decide to buy this depending on how detailed and how much information you have on your title. And eBay allows you 80 characters, including spaces, on the title. So you want to maximize those characters. So what do you write first? What's the first word that you write in your title? The first word that you're going to write in your title is who makes the dress. In this case, this dress is made by Express. So you're going to write Express. That's the name. And who is this dress made for? Women. So you write Express Women's. And what is it? It's a dress. So you write Express Women's Dress. And then what size is it? The order of terms is very important. The order that I'm saying it, that's exactly how you're going to write it. So it's Express Women's Dress, and then the size. This is a size small and size S. So it says S. So size S. What color is it? It is black. And does it stretch, or does it have any material that makes it stretch? If it stretches, so you write stretch. And if it's got any special kind of material, you write the special kind of material like rayon, cashmere, and stuff like that. The items that you want to stay away from on the title is acrylic, polyester, nylon. Those are a big 10 off. You don't write those. Never, 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 never write those on your title. So, and then what else do you want to put on your title after you have Express Women's Dress, size S, black, stretch? What else do you know about this dress? It's a bodycon. So it's bodycon. It shapes, it hugs the body. So it's a bodycon. What else do we know about this dress? We know that it's a crossover V-neck line. So you put that as well in the title. Crossover V-neck line. What else do we know about this dress? It is sleeveless. You put sleeveless as well. Then you can at the back, what other information do we know from the back? It's a double V. So that means it's a V front and back. So you mentioned that. Don't avoid repeating terms on the title. So don't write V crossover V-neck front and then write V-neck back. No, avoid. So you use V-neck once. So you can write double V neckline. and then you also put crossover. And then you don't have to write. When you're writing the title, you're not writing complete sentences. You're just dropping keywords. And then what is the closure for this dress? This dress has a zipper. So you're going, but this is like secondary. If you still have enough characters, you can write zip. Otherwise, this can come in the item specifics. Okay, so now that we have gone that far, how do you measure? How do you measure this dress here or any other? For this particular one, you're going to have different measurements. You're going to first you're going to measure from armpit to armpit, flat. Make sure your measuring tape is flat. Make sure it's flat and straight, not like horizontal like this. Otherwise, you're not going to get an accurate measurement. And those buyers, they want their measurements, and so you are going to measure it straight across like this. So this is 15 inches across. You see, from there to there, that's 15 inches across. So what I do personally, and I know some people do it differently, but I'm going to give you what I recommend. So this is 15 inches. So for me, that tells me you multiply that by 2. So it's a 30-inch bust. So that's your bust that you just got there for the lady. So that's a 30-inch bust. But to avoid more questions, most buyers want the straight across measurement. So they'll send you a message and say, what's the armpit to armpit or what's the pit to pit measurement? So what I've been doing lately to avoid all those questions, because you want to put as much detail in your listing as possible. So you're going to put all this is going in the description. So in the title, you're just writing the keywords, but the description is where you're going to write detailed measurements. That is, some of the measurements may be listed on the item specifics, but most of them I will put them in the item description. So as I go into the description, I'm going to, under measurements, all right, make sure you put approximate measurements. What this does is, if a buyer gets their item and they decide to double check the measurements, it will depend how they do their measurement as well and what measuring tape they're using, but mostly it's how they measure. So you want to cover yourself and say approximate measurements and then write down the measurements. So you're going to write the bust is 30 inches, and then armpit to armpit 15 inches. This is what I recently added. And for this dress here, you also want to measure the waist. And I'm going to go with the seam. Make sure you mention that you measured around the seam area right here, the thinnest part of the dress. This is your waist. So you measure the waist here, and I'm getting 14. So I'll write waist 28 inches. And for this bodycon dress, you know that it's going to body hug. So you want to measure the hip area. And how I measure the hip area is I measure the widest part of the hip. So I'll measure the widest part of the hip. Flat again. Something here. Yeah, I'll measure the hip here, which is 34 inches. The hip here, which is 34 inches, and I'll put it down 34 inches. The other measurement that you should always include is the length of the dress. So I always turn my dress around for the length. So, and you measure the length from the shoulder seam all the way to the hem. So I'll find the seam here. Here's the seam. Find the seam. Put your tape there, straight down. Straight all the way down. And that is 37 inches. This dress is 37 inches. Yeah, so, and then you write length from shoulder seam to hem, 37 inches. Now you pretty much have all the details. And the other thing that I want to tell you is I'm giving you more details on this first item. It will be quick. I promise you on the next items that we're going to do. So the other thing that I want to tell you about the title is the more information you have on your title, the less information you have to input in the item specifics, because what the title does is if you have a detailed title, it will populate in the item specifics. So that is our number one item. So this is done and we move on to the next item. So you've written down all your measurements and we move on to the next item. So moving on, the next item that I'm going to show you how to measure and list is this cute little red dress. Oh, I forgot to tell you with the black dress or any other item, when you get to the description, before you get onto the measurements, you have to. That's why you can fully describe the item. What those words are, those descriptive words that you couldn't write on the title, they go in the description, and that's why you can pretty much market. That's why your marketing skills come in the description, where you can write all those fancy words that you want to use, but no fancy words in the title. And right after the title, usually what eBay will do is they will recommend or automatically pick a category for you, as long as you wrote you wrote down a detailed title. So usually to automatically write classify your item, put it in a specific category. These are called eBay categories. You can also have your eBay store categories if you have an eBay store. And I'm not sure. Well, I still use them, but I know they are not so popular. But I use them, and they help also the way I kind of organize my inventory in my store as well. And right after that, you can write if you have an inventory system, how you store your stuff. You can put the number or whatever inventory description you need in what's or where it says SKU, and then right after that, before you get to the photos, the photo editor, you're going to come across where it says item condition description. So you're going to put the condition of the item. You can either say you have to first pick what condition it is. Is it new with text, like this dress here? This dress here is new, it's still got text, so it's brand new. So you're going to say new with text. The other black dress, that black dress, it's pre-loved, pre-owned. So you describe it, and on that one, I think I wrote excellent pre-loved condition. Yes, that goes under the condition. And then what I normally put on the condition as well is to remind the customer, the potential buyer, to go and see the description. So I'll say see description for measurements, or I'll say see measurements in the description box to ensure fit. That way you are reminding them to make sure that they go and check the measurements to avoid unnecessary returns. So now moving on with our second dress. This is another small dress, beautiful red dress. It's made of polyester all around, but then it's got different kinds of polyester. It's got the chiffon, or the sleeves are chiffon, and part of the dress itself is chiffon. So all that you put it under your in your description where you describe, and it's also a bodycon. It will hug somebody, and I think this size. It's a size medium. For me, this seems to be a little bit a smaller medium, so to speak. So that's why you always want to measure every item, because not all designs are created equal. So you want to make sure you include measurements in all your items, and that way you want to make sure that when the potential buyer goes from your title What the title does is it will pretty much tell the potential buyer that this is the item that they are looking for. And then what the description and all the item specific, what it does is tell the story of the garment. And you want to avoid customers having to send you messages asking for more details, which is why it's important that when you're taking photos, you take photos of every angle. Like we take the photo of the front. I take 2 full-length photos and the close up and the back. If there's anything of interest or any defect, please make sure you take the photo of the defect and mention it in the item condition as well. So if it is new without defects, I'll just say, if it's dresses, of course, I'll say new with tags, because this one is brand new and it still has a tag on it. So I'll under the condition, under item condition, I'll pick out new with tags. And if it is pre-owned, I'll pick pre-owned. And if it has any defect, you make sure you mention the defect on the condition. Otherwise, you're going to get a return which says item not as described, and eBay doesn't like that at all, and you have to pay for the shipping, for the return shipping, even if you set the shipping to be paid by the buyer for returns. But if the buyer opens a return, if the buyer opens a return and they say the item was not as described because you didn't mention a defect, then you are expected to pay for the shipping. Anyway, now, so with this dress, I picked this dress for a number of reasons. One, the sleeves, it's long sleeves. And you see, I think these sleeves are longer than normal. So it's important for you to put the measurements. Always, if it's long sleeves, you always want to make sure that you measure the sleeves as well. And it's got a different collar. This is what it's like a high collar. What I'll call it's more like a mandarin collar. To me, it looks like a mandarin collar. So I'll say it's a mandarin collar, because you definitely need to mention the type of collar. And then when you turn it around, it's got a keyhole. This is called a keyhole, and it's got 2 buttons. So it's a 2-button closure, because it will say, how does this dress close? The other one, the black one, it was a zipper, and this one will say buttons. So this is a 2-button closure, and it's got a high neck, which is a mandarin collar, and it's got, you see, like it alternates the chiffon and the other thicker material. It's such a beautiful, gorgeous dress. Yeah. So you want to make sure that the close-up shows that this top here is unique. And then you also, you may take the bottom if you want, but the top for sure, because it's got that unique look design. So now, when it comes to measuring this dress, we're going to go under the armpit here, by the seam here, and then make sure it's flat, straight across. See? Well, yeah, maybe it's a medium, because this is a 34 bust, yeah, 17. Yeah, maybe it is a medium. It's only that it's stretchy and it's bodycon, it hugs the body. So this is 17, which is 34. So again, remember, armpit to armpit, 17 inches, bust, 17 times 2, that is 34. And then you want to definitely, this one, it has a waist as well. So you definitely want to measure the waist, which is 30 inches. Well, it is a medium. So this is 30. And then you want to measure the sleeves. Some people measure the sleeve inseam. But I only measure the inseam if it's a raglan sleeve. That's a different video altogether. But for now, this is so I'll measure the sleeve from here, from the seam here. Let me show you. So you locate the seam, and then you stick your measurement, your measuring tape, and you line it all the way down. And that is 25 inches for the sleeve. So, and then you turn it around. So remember again, from the shoulder seam all the way to the hem, That's your that's your that's your length here, the length of the dress, which is here in this case is 34 inches. So that's that for that dress, which is brand new with tags and has no defects. Because some of them they may be new, but they might have defects. So you want to make sure that anything that is considered a defect or any discoloring or stains or anything, you want to make sure that you mention that in your description. Otherwise, you will get a very upset customer and you want to avoid unnecessary returns. So now, moving on with our next item. So for our next item is this plus size dress, which is the summer dress. And the reason why I picked out this dress is because of the spaghetti straps. This is what we call spaghetti straps, the thin ones, and it's also a summer dress because at times you might come across the season. Yeah, the season will be in the item specifics. And if you have enough keywords, you can put that as well. So on this one, you go ahead and say who makes it, whatever the designer is, women's. Usually, if it's a plus size for me, I write plus size. I write dress plus size, and then remember you don't want to repeat words. So I'll say it's whatever designer it is, women's dress plus size. If it's a 1X or 2X, then I'll put the 2X. And then this is definitely stretchy. It's a stretchy cotton. So I'll write stretch cotton blend because after you check the tag to make sure, for sure, well, because I already know, but if you are new and you're not sure, you need to check if it has cotton and spandex and some other material. You definitely want to write cotton blend or cotton stretch, depending. You can skip blend if you have limited, if you run out of characters in your title. So when it comes to taking a photo for something like this that won't take shape and just looks like that, you have to be very, very creative. What I do is I have some good tape that will not damage the dress. So I'll tape it here because you want to make sure that it looks very nice, and maybe somewhere here around the waist below this elastic waist. Yeah, and let it flow and just let it flow like this. So the way you are going to list this dress is after the design, the women's plus size and the size, and then stretch, spaghetti strap, and you write long. I wouldn't write maxi on this one, so I would write long, and then I'll write elastic waist if you still have characters. And the waist is also drawstring. So this can go under features in item specifics. So the way you're going to measure this dress is like this. You're going to make sure it is straight. Oh, and for this dress, you are going to say multicolor because it's got more than one color. So you're going to say multicolor. It's got more than one color. So you're going to measure across here. This is, without even looking at the tag, I know this is a size 1X. So this is 20. 20, so times 2, this is a 40 to fit a woman with a 40-inch bust size. So you also include armpit to armpit, 20 inches. And then you come here and measure this waist here and make sure you write the number down. It's a 38-inch waist without the drawstring. And then of course you turn it around. Okay, this is where the fun part comes in. Okay, you see, for a dress like this, it can be very tricky. But whatever you do, however you do your measurement, you make sure you write it in the description. You have one or two ways of doing this. You can either measure from the top of the strap here all the way down, and then write that number, or you can measure it right from here the center all the way down. Whichever you decide to use, make sure you mention where you took your measurement. So if I take the measurement at center back, I'll mention that measured at center back and write the measurement. So that's about that one. Yeah, trying to move fast here. So moving on to our next item. Okay, next up is this shift dress. This is a shift dress. A shift dress is just a dress without any shape. It's just like a loose fitting dress. Yeah, this will be shift, SHIFT. This is a shift dress. So you go on and check out the design and the size. So you write the design, women's dress size, and then you already know what the material is if you have checked it out. So you write if it's a good material to put in the title. This one is it's cotton maybe and some viscose or something. You put that in the title, and then you have to mention the type of sleeve. I would say this is a short cap sleeve. Well, not short cap sleeve, there's nothing like that. It's either short sleeve or cap sleeve. So for me, this is like a bell cap sleeve. Cap sleeves are very short, like very, very short. But then not only is this short, it's kind of like a bell shape. You see this? So to me, this is a cap bell sleeve, if there's anything like that. And then what's special about this material is so you have the purple. It's purple, and then the purple has some gold on it. So you can write either multicolor or you can write purple and then write gold on it. And it's new with text. Okay. So, and the other thing that you want to mention in the title, it's lined. So you want to make sure it is lined. And then when you go down to the description, um, so for this one, this is how you measure this one from here to there, like so. Oops, I need the third hand here. Okay, we're going to centimeters now. We know it's on 1 centimeters, 1 inches. So this is another 20, because I know this is a large. Oh my gosh, I might keep this dress, but it may be too short for me. This is 20 inches, so that's a 40. That's a 40 bust. So remember, the other thing that you want to make sure for this particular dress that you want to mention in the title is tassels. It's got tassels. That's another great keyword. Tassels. So it's got a tie neck with tassels. So you're going to write tassels on the title. And this dress is actually made in India. So there are some people who will look at where the dress is made. And I know there's on the item specifics, you can put where the dress is made. This particular dress is made in India, and I really love it. It feels so soft, and so whatever you like about that the dress is going to be your marketing information in the description, where you can write all you want in there. And then for this dress, there is no need to measure waist because it's just straight. So you already have your bust measurement. So you have two measurements here. You have the armpit to armpit. So that's your armpit to armpit, and then times 2, that gives you a bust. And then you turn it around like I always do, like I told you. And because it's cap sleeve, no need to measure a cap sleeve. So there's less measurements on this one. So for this one, and like I will say again, measure the length from the seam here, from the shoulder seam. Make sure it's from the shoulder seam. Usually I go for the tip here, right here where the sleeve meets the shoulder. Then you measure all the way down to the hem. And then, so you write length measured from shoulder seam. And then if you decide to measure from the center back, you can do that, but make sure you mention that it was measured at center back. And yeah, I think for this dress, that's pretty much it. And you make sure you write that it's a shift in will go in the title. So you have a women's whatever the designer's name is, the name, women's dress, uh, purple, oh, size L. This is, yes, it does fit under plus size L, purple, gold, uh, bell cap sleeve. Um, and by the way, when you're writing your titles, there's no need to write in plurals. So you don't write bell cap sleeves. You just write bell cap sleeve, one sleeve. Yeah, you want to save and maximize the characters that you're going to need in your title. And should you run out of titles, you can write size instead of writing size. You can just write SC. That's acceptable. And yeah, so let's move on to the next dress. I hope you are enjoying this and I hope you're learning a lot. This is a time for you to subscribe if you haven't. Just a reminder. Next up on our listing tutorial today is this Eliza J dress. This is so interesting. I thought this would be another amazing, great example of some of the items that you're going to come across and what keywords to use and what how to measure this one as well. Though I know by now you probably have the hang of how to measure women's dresses. So this is it's an Eliza J. You see, at times it will say the designer's name, and then some of them will have New York at the bottom, like Eliza J New York. To save yourself, to save the characters in the title, you can leave out the New York, or you can just write it as NY if you do have extra characters. But Eliza J will be do just as well. So it's an Eliza J dress as Eliza J women's. Remember, design. Who is it made for? Women. And what is it? It's a dress. So it's an Eliza J women's dress. And what size is it? I'll go ahead on this one and say plus size 14W. It's a 14 women's. And please, people, whoever say W stand for wide, please, it's not wide, it's women's. So it says 14 women's. So that tells you it's not a regular 14, it's a bigger 14. So it's Eliza J women's plus women's dress plus size 14W, 14 women's. And then next after that, it's definitely cotton. And if it's 100%, if you have enough characters, you can write 100% cotton, 100% cotton, or you can just write cotton, and then you can put in the description that it's 100% cotton. And remember to take the photo of the fabric content and this one here. Definitely the size and the brand. You also definitely need to include those. And it's got a zip closure. So it's got a zip. So you want to make sure you include that right there. And then, so now when and remember, after the size, you write multicolor floral because it's a floral dress and it has a lot of colors. So you're going to say multicolor floral. And then, yeah. Multicolor floral. What other keywords do I use for this? Sleeveless. And what shape? It's an A-line dress. It's an A-line. It's the shape of an A. Yeah, for me, it's an A-line dress. And it doesn't look like a very long dress. I'll say it's either a knee length, depending on the height of the lady who's going to be wearing it. I'll say it's a knee length, definitely not a short dress. It's a knee length. So all that will go in your title if you have enough characters. And then the way you're going to measure this particular dress is you're going to go like this here. So from here, from the seam, make sure everything is straight and flat. So like this, all the way across. You see, because it's a 14W, even the measurements are going to speak for themselves. And so this one is going to be 21. I'll be conservative and say, yeah, 21 inches across. So that armpit to armpit is 21 inches. And then for the bust, I'll say 42 inches. And then I don't think for this one, well, it's got a high waist. It's definitely it got a high waist. So I'll say high waist, and then high waist, I'll measure the high waist around the seam here. I'll measure the high waist and say the high waist also measures 20 inches. High waist 20 inches. And then the other measurement that you want to include on this particular dress is the length from the shoulder seam all the way to the, oops, sorry, from the shoulder seam here all the way down to the hem. And if you decide to measure, which I don't normally do unless if it doesn't have any shoulder seam, you can measure the center back and mention that you measured it from the center back. Yes, remember this is multiple floral, multicolor floral, very colorful. It might be colorful on the theme. You can leave it, that's still okay. And then if it's got lining, you make sure you mention that it's got lining. And if it doesn't, that's fine. And don't forget the fabric content tag on the photo. And the last two photos that you have are the designer and the fabric content. That should be the order of your photos on there. Moving on. Okay, the next example that I'm going to show you is this plus size women's dress. This is another new with text dress. It's by Glamour. Yes, it's by Glamour. So, oh my goodness, this dress, I so like it that I wish it was my size, but it's way too big. So with this dress, what you're going to say is it's a Glamour. So it's a Glamour women's dress plus size, and then you put the size on there, plus size 14W, 14 women's, so it's a 14W, black, white. I wish I knew what this graphic is. I wouldn't, well, I wouldn't wanna, is it part floral and some paisley or something? But the sleeves, this is a half length sleeve bell, half bell sleeve. See, when it's like a trumpet like this is a bell. It's called a bell sleeve. Yeah. Really, for this type of dress, I wouldn't worry measuring it, measuring the sleeve. But you know, you can if you want, but I don't measure this. I measure long sleeves, or if I feel that somebody, if there's need to. And then, so the measurement that you're going to get from this dress is, of course, and this is a stretchy dress, so you want to say stretch. And don't put polyester. I know it's polyester, but don't put polyester on there. Just write stretch, because it definitely has spandex in it. So you write stretch, and then the oh my goodness, this is a big dress. I wonder if it's even a 14. It's way bigger than a 14 because this is 20. Oops. Sorry, I'm losing things here. So I'm gonna make sure you get everything to be flat like this. So this is 22. So that's a 44 bust and 22 armpit to armpit. And then what I'll do, oh, the neckline, this is a scoop. This is a scoop neckline. And the type of dress, this is a sheath. Yeah, this is a sheath. So a sheath, not a shift. This is an SHEATH. This is a sheath, and a sheath is kind of, it doesn't hug on the body. It's loose, but it kind of has shape on it. And then the neckline is a scoop neckline. The scoop neckline is lower than, it's different from a crew neck. The crew neck is a little higher, like in most t-shirts, but this one is a scoop neckline. That's pretty easy and straightforward. And then you come to the length. I'll definitely measure this one from the seam here all the way down there and write the measurement. On this dress, there's no need to measure the waist unless if there's need to, but there's no need to. So you just have the bust measurement, armpit to armpit, and then the length and move on. And of course, in the description, just go crazy marketing your dress. Usually what I what I do at times in the description, I'll also recommend, like for this one, I'll probably tell them maybe it's a great dress to wear to church or as your Sunday's best or whatever. Yeah, at times I'll recommend just for fun. Yeah, moving on. I really tried to get as many examples as I could from my inventory, so that at least if you come across something similar to what I've shown you today, it's not so challenging. I like this dress. It's another brand new dress, a long dress, a floral, definitely floral, and it's got an elastic waist. So these are some of the things that stand out right away. It's got an elastic waistline, and it's for a small lady, a smaller lady, and the size of there's something going on with these bell sleeves. It's like they're so common, and all this, especially with the new ones that I've been showing you. That's another bell half sleeve, and so let's get on with the straighten it up here for a little bit. That's another scoop neck, and this is new with tags. So you take the name of the designer, so whatever. And when you have new ones too, like this, oops. When you have new dresses like this, you also have to take a photo of the tag itself. So how you measure this dress is going to be like the same way we've been doing with the rest of them. So from here, from the armpits to the armpits, without stretching it too much, 18. So this is a 36-inch bust. So armpit to armpit, 18. And then because it's got a smaller waist, you're going to have to measure this waist. And I'll measure like right in the middle of this elastic waist because it's thicker. So I'll measure it right here. And if you do stretch it, make sure that you stretched it, whatever, a little bit. So for this, I'll say this is a 30-inch waist. That's a 30-inch waist. And this is an A-line as well, A-line long. This could be a maxi, but I'm avoiding using maxi because maxi depends on somebody's height. So I'll write long instead. I'll write long. And then, of course, we did say it's a scoop neck. Then we turn it around. We get the measurement from the shoulder seam again, from the shoulder seam, remember? From the shoulder seam all the way down there. And then you enter that as well. And remember to write them as approximate measurements to cover your back. Yeah. And so when you get into the what you call it, item description, then this is when you're going to describe all these nice glitter. Even in the item specifics, you're going to mention that it's got some glitter accents on there, and just go ahead and describe it as much as you can, because you want your description and the item specifics and the title to tell a story, including the photos. The photos are oh boy, I can't even speak. The photos are what is going to sell your item. And for this dress, the fabric content tag is right here. So you take a picture of that, which also includes the garment care tag. It's one and the same thing. One at one side. At times they are on both sides. Moving on, another great item that I picked out for demonstration purposes is this sweater knit dress. This is like a winter dress, very short, very cool to wear with tights or skinny jeans and tall boots, flat boots. And yeah, this is so pretty. Actually, I didn't even pay anything for this. This came from one of my ex assistant property managers who lives here in the building. Yeah, this is one of the dresses that I got. That's why I always tell you that it's important to let the people around you know what you're doing, because most of them are getting rid of clothes. Because like this lady, she is changing her clothes at like 2 3 times a year. So she always gives me the ones that she's getting rid of. So this is a neat dress for sure. Short and it's some people say tunic maybe. So it's between a tunic and a dress. It could be a tunic, it could be a short knit dress, or it could be a tunic, whichever way you wanna put it. You can use both. Yeah. So you're going to write, of course, who makes it and who is it for? Who is it for? It's women, and then what is it? You can either say tunic or knit dress, winter knit dress, and then you can write this the size. It's a small for sure. Long sleeves, and I couldn't decide. I think this is more of a boat neck. I don't think this is a crew neck. For me, this looks more like a boat neck. BOAT. This looks like a boat neck. For me, that's how I would classify it, and it's gray and black. So I'll say multi, or you can put both if you have enough characters. And then long sleeves. Does it? Yeah, it does have a seam, so it's not a raglan. So then you go ahead and measure here. 20 inches. 20. Wait a minute. Gotta make sure that my measuring tape is pulled all the way. No, it's 19. Wait a minute. What am I doing? Yeah, it's 19 inches. So that's 38-inch bust. And I'll probably, this one is, you can measure the hip if you want, at the widest part if you want, but I don't think I did measure for this one. And then go ahead and turn it over and measure the sleeve from there all the way to the hem. It's another long sleeve here, and then you measure the length right from there, from the shoulder seam all the way to there. That's why I'm thinking it could be a tunic. Could be a tunic or a short dress. But I think she wore it. She wore it as a dress, a winter dress, and with some jeans and boots. Beautiful. Yeah. Moving on. Um. Okay, next up is this Tommy Hilfiger dress, and it's another plus size. I like this dress. It's a long dress. This is a maxi long dress. Yeah, it's like a tent. This is what you call a tent dress. Yeah, it is a tent, or well, maybe not a tent dress. Tent? No, maybe an A line. I'm not sure. I'm torn in between. Now I don't even remember what I listed it is. So okay. So like I said before, you gotta be very creative in making sure that it looks nice for your photos. You do what you have to do to make sure it looks beautiful. And if you've got a mannequin, this is the type of dress that you want a mannequin to wear. And the reason why I picked up this dress to be an example, it's a summer dress, long dress, and it's got some kind of racer back. This is some kind of racer back that's kind of scrunched racer back. If there's anything like that, somebody I know you can correct me in the comments if you want. Yeah. So on this dress, you're going to measure from there to there, of course. That will be your bust. And Tommy Hilfiger plus women's dress plus size, whatever size it is, one X or two. And I'll say this is definitely ivory brown stripes. You definitely want to put stripe in in your title, and you definitely want to put stretch in your title. The stretch will come immediately after the color stretch, and you want to make sure check out the tag to see what other exciting fabric content is there. Yeah, and then of course you're going to measure from the seam here, from the seam all the way down, and put down that measurement in the description. Yeah, that's that one. All these dresses, by the way, are listed in my eBay store, and I'll leave a link in the description. Moving on. Okay, the other thing that I picked out is this romper. It's a plus size romper, and this was definitely bought in a thrift store. Yeah, this is from a thrift store. It's not a brand new product. It's from a thrift store. So like I said before, when you take the photo, you want to make sure this looks nice and flat and decent. Yeah, it's a striped romper, black stripe. Yeah, black and white stripes, horizontal and vertical stripes. So your title is going to include the who makes it and whose is it made for, women, and it's a plus size. Don't forget plus size, and then write the size. And then it's a romper. It's not a dress, so it's a romper, and it's got an overlay top here. And I'll say for this one, you have quite a number of measurements. That's why I picked it up, because it's got quite a number of measurements. So first off, you want to make sure you measure the bust. So across like so, 26, so that's 52 inches. That's for a really busty, full-figured woman. So that's 52, and then armpit to be 26. And then the other thing that you want to measure, you're going to measure the waist here, right here where the bottom meets the top part. So you're going to go like this across, flat. So the waist is 40 inches. It's 20 across times 2. That's 40. So the other measurement that you want to measure here is the inseam. Because this is a romper, it's the romper, so you're going to measure the inseam. And the way I'm going to go into detail about measuring inseams when we do the listing of pants and jeans on one of the next videos. So what you want to do is you go where everything intersects here. Yeah, right here. So you measure from there all the way down. So all the way the leg like this. But I'm not doing it right because I don't know. And the sun is now shining right directly on our garment here. So you measure it like from there to there. Don't measure it from the waist, just in the crotch area, for lack of a better word. Yeah, and that's the inseam. The inseam is going to determine the length of their leg, if it's going to fit them. And then the other thing that you want to measure on this particular one, of course, it doesn't have sleeves. So you turn it over, and you're going to measure from the shoulder seam all the way to the seam of the. Actually, you know what? Sorry about that. This is how I'll do this, which is why I said you'll need extra measurements. So the first one I'll do will be from the shoulder to the waist. So I'll do the one from the shoulder to the waist, and that seam there here. So write this one down, and then from the shoulder all the way down to the hem of the leg, and write that one down as well. Oh, I need to cut this off. I didn't realize there was a thread here. I need to cut that off. Yeah, and then the other thing that you're going to put on your title, the closure. This is a button. It's got a single button and it's got a keyhole. And then the neckline is a scoop neckline. Scoops are very common, and you can mention this detail here. You describe it as much as you can, because you want to make them have a full story of the garment so that they decide to purchase without having to contact you for further details. Moving on. Moving on, I have another beautiful skirt here to demonstrate how we list this one. So you go ahead and check out the design, the brand name, write the brand name. Who is it for? It's for women. Brand name, women's skirt. And then the size, I believe this is a size 10 of the size 10. And then this is not houndstooth. This is checked or plaid, and this has the material that I was telling you that it's got the good material on it. So you go on the tag and check out the material from the feel of it, and it's got a raw seam. See how beautiful it is. And for this skirt, this one is flared. You put flared in the title as well. And it's also multicolored. So multicolor is what's going to go as well on your title. And the frayed hem or raw hem, whatever, however you want to put it. Yeah. So this kind of like unfinished hem, it's either raw or frayed or whatever. And then actually, I have a great example of that frayed on. Then you measure right here across. Did I say this is a size 10? I might be wrong. Maybe it is. I didn't look. It's a 30-inch waist. So here you only need 2 measurements. And of course, it's got a side zip. It's got a side zipper. You mentioned the side zipper. It's got a side zipper closure. So, and then you measure wherever the center is, measure the length, and that's all you need for that skirt. Actually, there was another example that I wanted to give you. Hold on. Okay, I have another great example here for you as far as skirts. Actually, this one is from my closet. I never even wore the skirt until it got too tight. Maybe now it does fit. I'll try it. I'll see. But yeah, I love this skirt, but I never got to wear it for whatever reason. This skirt has it definitely has some wool in it, and it is lined. So that's your title. So whoever makes it, the brand name, women's skirt, size, I believe it's a size 10, And for me, this looks like an olive green or green olive. And then it's lined, goes into the tail, and it's frayed. You see, this is a frayed skirt, and the wool type. You look for the fabric content tag, and make sure you mention the type of wool that's in the skirt, and then the measurements that you're going to get from the skirt is the waist, of course, which I believe must be 34. Oh, it's a 32 waist, 16 across times 2, that's 32. And then you definitely want to measure the widest part for the hip. You want to measure here, about here, roughly. Yeah, yes, 44. 44 hip. This skirt might be fitting me. I'll try it again. I wouldn't mind keeping it. Oh, and make sure all these things, if you don't have you can get a lint roller and get rid of all these things that I definitely need to clean it up a little bit more. Get rid of these white things on the lint roller can take care of that. And then definitely, I don't know. I'm so used to just turning it around. I feel like I get a better measurement for the length at the back. It's just me, I guess. Then you measure the length from the center back. all the way down, and that's your measurement. And if it has a slit, like a slit, you mentioned that it has a slit, of course it's lined. And when you write about when you get to the description, when you describing fully what this item looks like, and as you are selling it, make sure you include the walking slit. And at times I measure it to avoid questions. I'll measure the length of the slit, and make sure that you include that the lining is, if it's 100% polyester, mention that it is 100% polyester lined. Yeah, that's it. I think for the skirt. Oh no, I have one more plus size skirt for you guys. And yes, we are getting towards the end of this video. I just wanted to make sure that I'm so thorough with this. So moving on, I have one more plus size skirt to show you. We're going to measure here. It's a 38-inch waist. However, it's got an elasticated back. So you gotta mention that the back of the skirt is elastic. So that means it can stretch to beyond 38 inches. And the other thing that you want to measure on the skirt, you're going to measure across the widest part. This is for a bigger woman, a fuller size. So it's going to be the skirt that kind of hugs them around the hip area. So you want to measure the widest part of the skirt, and this is a bell, like a trumpet. I'll say a trumpet skirt because of this design here. If it's flat like this at the hem, it's a trumpet skirt. Then you're also going to measure the length, and you're going to mention that it has a side zip closure. It's got an elastic waist, and yeah, and of course it is lined. It is lined, and then you also check out the fabric content. That's it for the skirts. I think I have one more item to show you before I move on to, well, two maybe interesting items. Okay, I also want to show you this dress. The reason why I wanted to show you this dress is because it's got a belt. So it's a belted dress. So this is how you're going to proceed with the listing for this dress. You're going to, of course, put the brand name, and then it's another plus size. It's a plus size 16. So you're going to put the brand name, women's plus size 16, and then you write it is a dress, of course, and it is kind of stretchy. You check that out in the fabric content tag. If you see anything that says elastane or spandex, you know that it's got some stretch to it, or if it's knit. And then you also write on the title that it has a belt. You just write belt. You write belt, buckle belt, and then the length of the sleeve. This is half. I'll say this is half, and it's new with tag. It's got a tag. It's new with tag, and this is kind of a sheath. It's a sheath, sheath, with a belt. It's a belted sheath of some sort. I don't think I'll call it a sheath with a belt. I'll just leave it as dress. And the dress is looped, so it's got a looped dress, a loop belt. All that you're going to put in the item description. Yeah, so what you want to do is to avoid questions, because there will be that one buyer who's going to send you a message and ask you how long the belt is. So you're going to measure the belt, including the buckle, and make sure you also mention if the buckle is gold coated or silver coated. Make sure you mention mention that in the description, and make sure you measure the belt from including the buckle all the way around, and include that measurement with your measurement, and then proceed with the bust. I would probably measure the sleeve as well, and then turn it around and measure the length. And it's a pullover because it doesn't have. Wait a minute. Let's see. Yeah, it's a pullover dress because it doesn't have a side zip, it doesn't have a back zip, so it's a pullover dress. That's how it doesn't have any other zip, and it's a beautiful, beautiful dress. What I really like about these new items is the tag. Usually, the tag usually has all the information that you need. It might include the color as well, and it was amazing because I was going to just give it another funny name color, but it does say some kind of a shade of teal. It's got a fancy name to it, and this too is in my eBay store. All right, I think last but not least, I'm going to show you how to measure. Oh wait, there's another skirt here. Okay, the last item I wanted to show you, I'm not even going to hang it up, just so that we get over and done with this video. It's been too long already. This skirt here, this is from my closet as well. It's got pockets. Okay, this is how it goes. It's like so. It's like this. So it's a skirt with a front zip, front pockets, not side, front pockets. So you're going to measure across, multiply it by 2. That's your waist. I bet you this is a 32 or 34-inch waist. And I say 32. Yeah, and I include that it's got a front zip, a front zipper, front pocket, and include that it's got pins. It's a pinstripe. It's pinstriped. It's yeah, these tiny little stripes. I know you normally see this in men's suits, but this is a pinstripe and it's a dark gray. Yeah, and then also mention that it's a straight pencil skirt, just like the frayed one. It's a straight pencil skirt, and then you also measure the length of the skirt as well. Include the hip area because this is a straight. Or for all straight skirts, you have to measure the hip area. Yeah, and that way you avoid too many questions and returns. And then lastly, I want to show you how to measure a jacket. I'm not going to do winter coats because by now you get the hang of this. Okay, let's hang this up. And the last item that I want to show you how to measure is this jacket, this cute jacket here. This is a Loft jacket. So the design, it's so easy to spot Loft because they've got this elaborate tag. So this is a Loft. You know, guys, what I notice is sometimes the photos really don't do justice to the beauty of the item. Yeah, so this is a Loft jacket, Loft women's jacket. And then you put the size, and this is how you're going to measure. You're going to also indicate that it's got it's a zippered full zip. This is a full zip. When the zip goes all the way up or all the way from top to bottom, it's a full zip. So this is full zip, and it's got a frayed detail there. So this is how you're going to measure. You're going to measure same concept. Armpit to armpit, you're going to get that. That is 1938, 38-inch is your bust. And then you also want to measure and it's a scoop neck, of course. Then you also want to measure the sleeve from the seam here, from the shoulder seam all the way here. And it measures 20 inches. And then you want to measure the length. You want to measure the length from the shoulder seam right here, shoulder seam. It's about 19 inches. Yeah, and this is what I'll call a dress jacket. And it's got, I'll say it's on the textured side. So all those are your keywords. Multicolor, of course, it's multicolored, and full zip. And yeah, so yeah, that's it, guys, for today's video. I want you to sound off in the comments if you found this video very helpful. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Watch out for my next video. I'm going to be showing you how to list jeans and how to tell the difference between men's and women's jeans, because some people find it challenging to know the difference between men's jeans and women's jeans. So look out for that video. It will be coming up soon. And sometime next week or in about 2 weeks, I should be uploading another video showing you how to list shoes and how to take photos of boots like a pro. You know what I'm saying? Make those boots look nice, not like sloppy. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my informational videos. And yeah, tell me in the comments if you are going to use any of these tactics. How do you measure your items? What's your procedure? Do you measure during the time when you're taking photos, or do you measure while you're listing? Tell me, and hey, let's connect next time. Remember to do small things with great love from my heart to yours. I wish you many more sales in this fourth quarter. Bye bye.